Hello, good day to our dear viewers. My name is Javier. I'm your host for today for this show of Venture Capital TV. And like every session, we bring you the innovation, technology, and solutions you want to hear about. And we, best of all, we get it to hear from the CEOs of the co-founders of the project. Today, I'm very glad to present a really big, really cool project called Ravencoin, represented by the co-founder Tron Black. Tron, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. I must say, you have a really cool name.
Thank you.
It's
Thanks.
Tron and Black.
Tron
You
and
can't,
Black.
you can't get any better than that.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with it, so I'll give my dad all the credit.
Okay, just before we move on, just like an indication to our viewers, a reminder that you can always see the previous shows and content by visiting latoken.com/VCTV/shows. Also, follow us on our socials like Facebook and Twitter. We're now called Meta. If you're watching us on YouTube, just hit the subscribe button because you always will be informed of great content, opportunities, and even giveaways. Also, important reminder, please remember that anything mentioned here is not any type of financial advice. You have to do the research before making a decision. It's your choices and your responsibility. And with that said, we're going to start this great AMA show. And again, to our viewers, you are able to make questions, put your comments there. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a comment section. We will be addressing the questions live. Okay. So, Tron, are we ready to start?
Yeah, let's do this.
Fantastic. Okay, can you give us to start with? Can you give us a little bit review of you and your team? What's the background?
Sure. Yeah. I've been a developer all my life. I worked for T0, which was a division of Overstock, and I worked for Medici Ventures, which was a subsidiary of Overstock that owned most of T0 and invested in other projects. But along that route, the I guess Patrick and Bruce Fenton, who was the former executive director of the Bitcoin Foundation, came up with this concept. Bruce came up with it and talked about it at MIT and some other schools, which would be a combination of Bitcoin plus the ability to create your own tokens, and that kind of put together. Now, that wasn't altogether new. That had been done before in Counterparty, Mastercoin, now Omni, and Open Assets. And so Bruce had tried to get some other developers to work on it, and they kind of hadn't gotten it done. And so he talked to Patrick Byrne, CEO of Overstock, and Patrick said, "Hey, we have some developers in Medici that might be able to do this." And I got wind of it early on and quickly, and it happened to be in my wheelhouse, C and C++ developer in kind of an earlier life. And so that's kind of where it started. And then we took Bitcoin and modified it to be Ravencoin. So in that case, you'd consider it kind of an altcoin in the spirit of, let's say, a Litecoin or something that was derivative of Bitcoin. And then, but the plan was always to add this asset layer. So after it launched, and it launched on Bitcoin's 9th birthday, so January 3rd of 2018, so a little over 4 years ago. And then after that, so it started mining. So the only way to get Raven is to either mine it or buy it from somebody who did mine it, or that's how it comes into existence. So that's kind of how you enter the ecosystem. It is a platform. So you're not just buying like a Litecoin where it's just a token that kind of has value. It actually is a platform that allows you to create your own assets on top of Ravencoin. So you burn Ravencoin, and that's how you get it. So anyway, we built it. We built this asset layer on top of it. That was kind of during the intervening about 10 months after it launched. And then that launched on November 5th of 2018. And so then it became a fully active, fully working platform. And since then, people have created over 55,000 different tokens on top of the platform.
So Raven as a project has been existing since 2018.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Has been operating or launched, since 2018 and built before that. Yep.
So when Since when did you guys actually started working on it?
We started working on it in 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it took
Quite a
us,
while ago, huh?
yeah, it took us, 4 or 5 months to kind of make the modifications to brand it as Ravencoin and make the changes. Most of those changes were really more of turning Bitcoin into Ravencoin. So we sped it up. So it's 10 times faster. Blocks are a little larger. So it has 20x the capacity of Bitcoin. And
Okay.
and I'm a big Bitcoin fan, so I don't want this to be, like, oh, we're faster than Bitcoin or that kind of thing. But we did need more capacity because we are handling more tokens. Bitcoin handles Bitcoin, Ravencoin handles Ravencoin plus 55,000 other tokens that people have created.
Wow. Okay. That's impressive. Now I'm a little bit of a visual learner, so we have here a trailer, a video about Ravencoin. Before we jump on Raven specifically as a project, I would like to share the trailer with our viewers so they can have a good idea, like an intro, and after that we
Yeah,
jump to the rest of questions. All right?
let's play it.
Okay. Let's do this. Great, great, great. Good
Yeah.
video. I liked it. Great
Yeah,
effects.
that was a community built video. That's kind of how,
Community.
Ravencoin just has this amazing community that's building things for it on top of it, and so yeah, they just contribute to the ecosystem. It's amazing.
Oh, fantastic. Great. I can see already that you have a very good community. Um, Miller says, awesome Ravencode video presentation, creative, well thought, and executed. Cool. So we're already getting some comments again to our viewers. If you have any question, please feel free to drop it here. We will be asking Tron about it. So it's a great opportunity to get to know the project directly from the co-founder. That's very rare. So community, please feel free to join us with the questions. So Tron, okay, a lot of information in that video. And now to get
Yeah.
a little bit of a better idea, let's go to basics. Can you
Okay.
please tell us what's the problem you foresaw and motivated you and your co-founders to start the project?
Yeah. So I think the problem is that we'll call it a solution, which is tokenized, basically tokenized anything. And we see that now a lot. So you see it with ERC20, for example, is a token, for Ethereum, is tokenization of anything. You create a token. So Ravencoin is modeled after some platforms that came before Ravencoin. So Counterparty, which was built on top of Bitcoin, Mastercoin, again on top of Bitcoin, and Open Assets on top of Bitcoin. They just had some issues. So one of the problems we were trying to solve is there was a little bit of clunkiness when you add assets on top of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's completely unaware of them. Bitcoin says, "Hey, is there a Bitcoin in this transaction? Great, I'll move it, I'll store it, I'll keep it." But if there isn't, then it has the potential to be pruned out, or you need to include some Bitcoin with every transaction, which makes it so that as you move assets or other tokens, then Bitcoin had to move with every one of those. And so we kind of removed that when we put the two together. We said there's still a small fee, Raven fee, for using the network, just like there is a kind of Bitcoin fee or gas on Ethereum. but it's the fee is in Raven, but you don't have to include Raven with every transaction. You don't have to actually have it move with your asset. And so we were able to remove some of that clunkiness by putting the two together and changing the consensus rules a little bit. And so and then the other thing that we ran into, and I ran into this is, because I worked for another company building an Explorer, and for open assets. And one of the problems with that is open assets, which was built on top of Bitcoin, would say, what does this token represent? And it would be a shortened URL, right? So a small like Bitly link kind of thing. And it would point to a website saying, this is what our token is. Well, a lot of these projects, the website's gone or down or has been taken down or something like that. So this is shortened URL that's in, is permanently recorded in the Bitcoin blockchain, and in sort of a comments section of the Bitcoin blockchain, is pointing to a website that just doesn't exist. So you don't even know what the token was represented. So that was another problem we solved by using IPFS. It's immutable what that token represents. The other problem that we ran into with some of these other things is the tokens would have a unique name, but it wasn't a guaranteed unique name. It would be a unique name, like it would be a combination of like the block number plus the transaction ID. So it's sort of a random number. And Ethereum has the same problem, right? So you get a contract ID that's basically 40 hex characters, and that's your unique thing. Now, you can say the token is named Bob or whatever, but someone else can make a token named Bob, and it would have a different hex. So you need to make sure that people understand which smart contract they're interacting with, but that's a large string of characters. On Ravencoin, we have a built-in DNS-like registration system. So it can actually act like ICANN or something like the whole DNS registration system, where when someone creates a token, they check and say, is my name available? And if it's not, they can't get it. Someone else has reserved it, has it forever, it's immutable, they have it. If the name's available, then they get it. They say, click, and it belongs to them. It costs 500 Raven. Those are burned, so that's part of the tokenomics. Those tokens are gone forever. They're actually transferred to an address that's provably unspendable. Right now, that's about, we'll call it like $35, something like that. Could go up as Raven goes up, but it costs about $35 to reserve your root name. You can also create subnames under that, and that's kind of like getting www or other names under your domain. And so those, you get the whole namespace. You can name them anything else you want. So if we do start running out of good names, someone can create a root name and then create a system under that to create a whole new set of names. But that was another problem that we solved. So those two problems, that's all built into Ravencoin.
All right, cool, great. Now, I usually like to the projects that come to the show. I like them to participate in an elevator pitch. So, meaning, imagine you and me, we haven't met for a long time, and you want to explain to me what is Raven about. But you have 2 minutes.
2 minutes? That's not too bad. Okay.
Okay, so go.
Ravencoin is code only. So it's code that's running all the nodes, just like Bitcoin. It works just like Bitcoin. It was copied from and used the most secure code of Bitcoin, and then added the ability to create your own tokens on top of that very, very secure platform. And those tokens, when you create them, all those tokens belong to you. And what you do with the tokens is completely up to you. They can be an hour of your time. They can represent equity. They can represent a share of land, share of a project, a cap table, a gift card. All of the tokens belong to you. The code is the project, right? So there is no centralized entity in this. It's a very distributed project. So if you want to enter this ecosystem and participate in it, you would participate like you would participate in Bitcoin. You would purchase Bitcoin, or you'd purchase Raven. That doesn't go to no entity collects that money. It's part of the ecosystem like Bitcoin. Is that under 2 minutes?
Great. Yeah, you did it under 2 minutes. Awesome. Well done. I usually like that, so that there's one key central part that people can take away with them as part of the learning. Thank you very much for that, John. And to our viewers, yes, please do drop us your questions. We have received a few of them. I'll be making them in a little bit, not yet. First, I want to touch a couple of more important questions that we have so people can know the basics about the project. And after that, we'll be addressing the other questions. And again, for our viewers, please get to know the project. It's your responsibility. Learn more about it. Please go to ravencoin.org. There you have all the information. You have the updates. You have about the community, the wallpaper, the ledger. So please educate yourself from that point. It's very important. Go to ravencoin.org. That's where you can get all the information. So with that said, let's keep going. Simply exciting and really ambitious project. Now you do have the token, right?
Yep.
Ravencoin.
Yep.
How does the token get involved in the whole project and the ecosystem?
Yeah, so built into Ravencoin, the RVN is the token, right? So that's kind of what it trades under in various different sites, on Binance US, Bittrex, etc. But this token is used to as fees. So the fees to transfer. The fees are very, very low to transfer tokens. It does have a built-in economic model, the same one that Bitcoin uses, where if the system ever gets overloaded, the fees, the fees are the blocks that get included in it are the ones that include the highest fees. That's exactly the same as Bitcoin. We have the same model. That's never happened or been needed. So the fees have been very, very low. We do have a lot of projects on it, but there's not high volume projects, so it's not overloaded. The Raven is also used to create tokens, to create sub assets or sub tokens, or to create what we call unique assets, or most commonly known now as NFTs. So after you create one of your root tokens, and that could be your name or a studio name, an artist name, then your NFT would be that name, hashtag, and then whatever you want after that. And that has to be unique. And that makes it so that every NFT has provenance. It came from this root token. The owner of that root token was the only person that could have created it. And that's often done. Sometimes people do it in 2 layers. They do studio, and then all the artists under that studio as subtokens, and then hashtag and the name of, let's say, the art piece. Right. And then you connect with IPFS. You can connect files full of folders, PDFs, movies, images, things like that to actually do your NFT. We have a large NFT. We have I think 5 NFT marketplaces. We have lots of people that will help with NFTs. If you're an artist and just says, well, I don't know how to start, I don't know where to begin, just jump on. You can follow me, follow Leon_Texas on Twitter, and then you'll start seeing posts that include my name from NFT artists and projects that help create NFTs for other people.
So if there is, for example, a studio that would be interested in this, how do they reach you, or do they go to a Discord channel?
Actually, the best would probably be to go to the Ravencoin Foundation. You can just search for Ravencoin Foundation, or it's Ravencoin.Foundation is actually the domain. And then it's not a pretty website, but at the very bottom, it has a footer. And this footer is large, and it's really a categorized list of links kind of related to the Ravencoin ecosystem. And all that does is kind of branch you out. But one of those sections is called NFTs. And it has various marketplaces and websites that can help you build NFTs. So basically reaching out to any of those, each one of them would have their Twitter account and Telegram and Discords and things like that. Also, you can just join the community, which is you can go to ravencoin.org or ravencoin.foundation, and there's community links. And so we have Telegrams and Discords and things like that, and just ask in there and they'll point you. The community is super friendly, so it's a good way to start.
Okay, great. Again, for our viewers, please go to ravencoin.org. That's where you get the information. And if you allow me, I would like to share my screen just so that people have an idea.
Yeah.
This is the one that you were talking about. I hope you can all see my screen, right?
Yeah. So scroll down to the bottom of that. So all of those links basically kind of are just categorized and point you to places where you can trade or mine or the social or NFT information or learning or development, things like that. There's bounties for things that need to be added to the thing. We don't have a big team, but we do have bounties out there for developers that want to basically build the testing framework for it and include it in the code, and then we'll test it, make sure it works, and then pay out a bounty. So,
Okay. You can have okay, fantastic. Great. Thank you for that. Great.
sure,
So
yeah,
again, to our viewers, you can have it. Now let's spice things up. We have received a couple of questions.
all right,
I'll post them, and then you two are gonna tell me, guide us through them,
okay,
because you will know better the type of questions they are. Okay, Jake, made a question. Tron, could you talk about the restricted assets and how they could be used to tokenize stocks?
yeah. This gets a little bit into the weeds on kind of where blockchain meets legal, right? So there's a little bit of a clash. One thing in the U.S. That is difficult. So for people who've been around for at least maybe 4 years, probably remember ICOs, right? So you can invest in anything, and then kind of the U.S. government, mostly the SEC, came in and said, hey, you can't do this. It's all illegal, kind of thing. And so you have to, when you're issuing a share, and it's, there's some rules, like if it's based on the efforts of others, and people are investing money, et cetera, things like that. And so we built some stuff into the Ravencoin platform that makes it easier to do a legal issuance. And so those are typically called STOs now. So security token offerings instead of initial coin offering. And what those are is some of the rules require that it can only be done to KYC people and things like that. So we have a set of tokens. They always start with a $. They're completely separate from our other tokens, which work just like Bitcoin. You can't stop them. They trade, they move, they work like Bitcoin. But we have ones that have a $. With the ones with a $, the issuer has the ability, hopefully just under like a court order, to freeze all trading, or to freeze assets into one address so they can't move it. And then also to set rules that say there's certain tags that need to be associated with the address before the token can move into the address. And those tags might be, hey, we've done KYC on them, or they're accredited, or something like that. So these things are very like uncrypto-like, right? Crypto's like freedom and that kind of thing. But this was a tool set that we built. It's built into Ravencoin, and it is for people that want to do compliant issuances of tokenized stock in the US. There's a tool set for them, and they can basically send tags, or have some other company send tags to an address and say, this has been KYC'd, et cetera. Can hold trading until the trading's allowed, which oftentimes for like a Reg CF offering is 1 year, things like that. So it has this tool set built in. Those tokens will always start with a $. So if you see that they start with a $, and then whatever name after that, those tokens, the issuer, the person that created it initially, has some superpowers. Those superpowers over the token are for mostly for legal compliance in various jurisdictions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Let's jump in another question from a gentleman from Korea, I assume.
Yeah.
When Coinbase?
Yeah, this is an excellent question. I wish I knew. I really do. So we have submitted to Coinbase's platform, right? Where you submit. We've answered all their questions. Ravencoin is not a security. We have the legal documentation to support that assertion, right? It wasn't sold to anyone. Raven was not, there was no company that said, hey, we're going to start this project, give us money, and we'll give you these tokens. That never happened. All the tokens have been mined into existence, which makes it a very legally compliant coin. So it's more commodity like Bitcoin would be, or Litecoin, or something like that, which is better. And the only reason I mention that here is because that's the type of thing that platforms, legal platforms in the U.S. like Coinbase, Bitstamp, Kraken, et cetera, look for before they would list a token. Otherwise, it throws them in a different category, being like an ATS or something like that, which has different legal requirements. So when Coinbase, I don't know. We've submitted it. I hope it happens. Hopefully they see this and go, oh, we should list it right away.
Let's do that. Okay, great. Thank you. Jacob is asking, do you see T0 or other security exchanges utilizing Ravencoin?
Yeah, so this is a great question. So Ravencoin itself T0 already sells Ravencoin and lets you swap it. That's like that's like Binance US or whatever with Ravencoin, because Ravencoin is a commodity. T0 may and hopefully will offer use some of the tokens that are on top of the Ravencoin platform that other people have issued, compliant and legal, and allow those to trade on their platform. Really what they're looking for, T0 and others, so Merge and Abe and others, are looking for projects that have lots of trading volume, lots of liquidity, and at least like $100 million, kind of market cap, so that there's enough trading liquidity to make it worth listing on their platform. Hopefully that number gets lowered at some point, because I would like to see more projects available. Yes, I would like to see it. The only thing that T0 needs to do is deposit and withdraw, because all the other trading is done with a database, right? It's just inside their platform. And so I would definitely love to see that happen. And I know that there's been some good news recently related to T0 and so.
Okay, great. Let's jump on. We're getting a lot of questions, so I'll try to fit them in. I'm not sure I can, but we'll give it a try. Milos is asking, so Ravencoin is, among others, a token generator and crypto asset generator overall?
Yeah, typically I don't use the word generator, but it is a platform where someone comes along and says, I want my own token, right? I want to create my own token. So this is really easy. You get 501 Raven. The 500 Raven is going to get burned, and part of that other one Raven will be used for fees. And you pick a name, you pick how many tokens you want, anywhere in any number between 1 and 21 billion. And you write a document or picture or movie or something about what your token is, and you drag that to an IPFS platform like ravencoinipfs.com, and it gives you an IPFS hash. You put that in, and so then it kind of links what your token is to a file. It could be a PDF, could be a movie, could be an image, could be a folder full of files even. And then you say whether it's reissuable. Reissuable says I can make more in the future because I'm the issuer, or you say it's not reissuable, in which case, whatever number you chose, whether it was 1 or 20 billion or 5, it's locked forever. You can never increase the amount or decrease the amount.
Tron, question here. Sorry for interrupting. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be wondering this. How much experience so the person who will want to create the token has to be a developer? Do they have to have knowledge, experience in IT?
No, I mean,
or somebody like me? That has no idea.
This is like 6 years old and up kind of thing. It's like really, really, really easy. I mean, like literally built into the software. You install it, you download it, syncs the chain. That takes a little while, and then you say create asset, and it says what name do you want, and you say check availability, and if it turns red, you can't have it. If it turns green, you get it. It's available still. You put in a number from 1 to 21 billion. How many tokens do you want? You put that in. The IPFS thing is dragging a file, getting a string that you paste in. So that's not developer level. That's it. Check reissuable and hit generate, create, and then all the tokens show up in your wallet. It's that easy.
I would like to show our viewers where's that located. Is that located in the ravencoin.org website?
The software that you download is ravencoin.org. Yep. And you can download it for Windows, Linux, or Mac. There are mobile wallets, and then there's also mangofarmassets.com if you don't want to install the software, but you still want to do this. Mangofarmassets.com, and it's a custodial wallet, so you actually hold your keys, even though it's a website. You actually hold your keys. All the digital signing is done in your browser, and then you have your 12 words to secure it and back it up. But so we have web, mangofarmassets.com. And Linux, Windows, or Mac. There is an iOS version. There's an Android version, but it's not in great shape. And we have a new wallets coming out that will have this capability, and they're being worked on now. So, yep.
We can see it here, right?
Yeah.
It's basically ravencoin.org. You would go to wallets, and then you can have it here, desktop downloads.
Yep.
and then you can have it. That's the port.
So these third-party wallets, as you're scrolling through those, all of those will hold Raven, transfer Raven, etc. There are a few that will allow you to create assets, and they're kind of marked with those icons. There's Mango Farm, for example, that lets you create assets. I think Zelcore allows you to create assets. There's different ones that allow you to create assets from those wallets.
Great. So then that's great information. So I think probably if somebody's a beginner, they're better off just downloading one of your desktops, right?
Desktop or Mango Farm Assets. Mango Farm Assets is probably a little faster and easier because you don't need to wait for the, for that one, you don't need to wait for the chain to sync. And then there's, they're being worked on now, but there's a couple of new mobile wallets for Ravencoin, and that will let you create assets that won't require you to sync. And those will be probably the fastest and easiest way to do it in the future. But those are in development.
Question, Tron. Once the project has established the coin, has opened the coin, has downloaded obviously the wallet system, and has made the video and so on, when they want to sell it or they want to put it a offering to the public, how would they do that? Is they going to have a wallet within Raven?
Yeah, so it's a large ecosystem. So it kind of depends on what they want to do. If they're going to be selling it for stock or something like that, you would talk to like a DigiShares, and they would help you do it like a share offering, right? So collect KYC information, etc. If you just are doing an NFT, then go to the NFT section, and there's NFT marketplaces where you can basically just post your NFT and then people can bid on it. There's auctions. We have live auctions that actually run in a virtual space called Ravencoin Campus. And you go there, and we've had like 150 people come, and a live auctioneer who's represented by an avatar in this 3D environment, and he's doing the pattern and everything. People bid on the chat. So we have that. There's also tokentrader.net, raventrader.net. And that's one where you basically offer whatever you have, your token, and it's a half sign transaction. And then someone else can come in and sign the other half with their Raven, and then it's an atomic swap. So nobody's holding the funds at any point. It's just an atomic trade, which means that nobody kind of gets rugged if there's anybody in the unsavory in the thing. So it's a good, safe way to offer things.
Great. Yeah. I just had an idea. It would be great if for our next show we can do this. We can sort of create a token within the Raven ecosystem, like a sort of even tutorial. That to show people how it would work. I think that would be great. People would love that.
Yeah. So we do have, like text tutorials. So my Medium, which is just tronblack.medium.com, has tutorials on making NFTs and making these restricted assets and how to do it. So you can look at those. Those are mostly linked from Ravencoin Foundation, of just where you learn and different people that have written things up about how to do it. Some of them are videos. There's lots of videos on how to mine Ravencoin. That's another thing people can do. If you have a video card, basically turn your computer on at night and mine Ravencoin. It's literally just running like one line of code and sending it to your address, and then you just get Ravencoin.
Okay, fantastic. Great. Now here's another question, which I think this is an interesting one from Ravencoin Info. How would you imagine Ravencoin entering the metaverse?
Yeah. So here's what I would like to see. I mean, this is a pretty big ask, but platforms like Oculus, platforms that have 3D, three-dimensional immersive environments. So I think where NFTs will likely go in the future is certificated or provable provenance for three-dimensional items. And we already have NFTs that have been created that are 3D models that can be taken into an AR environment and displayed. Like you can just place it in your room where you're looking through the camera and you're seeing this 3-dimensional item kind of floating in the room, and you can kind of walk around and see all sides of it. We already have that. But what's really necessary is not to have it sitting in your living room, because that's not too impressive, but to actually move it. And, that same model can be moved into a VR, AR environment. But the important part, I think, is not just that, because that doesn't require a blockchain. You can create a 3D model, move it into a VR, AR environment, and have it visible. We've already done that. Frame will do those types of things. What's important is that the platform basically looks at the provenance of that item, meaning who created it? Is it real? Did it really come from, the watchmaker that's trying to make, digital watches now for the, to that are expensive, right? So you have these you now have this ability to bring in, the Patek Philippe watch into the virtual environment, because in the virtual environment, everybody's avatar has the same shoes, same whatever, and we don't have that same kind of thing we have in real life where people are sporting,
So they're trying to pimp the avatars.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And we don't have that yet in the 3D environment. But I think that's coming. I think that merged with NFTs, meaning provable from the source, licensed or done by some famous, incredible artist, where it's not a copy, right? It's not a copy paste. This is the original. I think that's coming to VR environments near you. And so what I would like to see is them to look at the Ravencoin chain, which is pretty easy, right? It's all public. You can just scan through it, put it in a database, and you would know what items are real, what items really came from the real artist.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Another question. What's the relationship between ICE and Ravencoin? And ICE, the gentleman actually explained, it's Intercontinental Exchange.
Yeah. So Intercontinental Exchange owns most of the exchanges that trade equities. It's somewhat, they own most of it. This is public news. I think it came out yesterday that one of the former people from ICE is now the CEO of T0. So there's currently no relationship, but I would like to see T0 support Ravencoin issued assets on their platform. I think what it takes, though, is companies that are doing larger offerings to use Ravencoin, and then all it is deposit and withdraw into the T0 ecosystem. I would love to see that happen. Hopefully, we can help make that happen.
Okay, great. Now, I would like to make some of my questions as well.
Yeah.
Try to squeeze them in because they're a little bit running out of time here. Okay, so can you please explain what makes your project different?
Yeah.
So
I would say the main thing that makes it different is it's not a company. It was funded out of Medici Ventures, but it's not a company. So a lot of times these things are companies and have kind of a centralized spot or core. Ravencoin Foundation, even though it's a place where people can contact me and get information, it's not the center. We have lots of other sites besides ravencoin.org where people can find all the same information. We have other projects out there, community run, that are like Ravencoin Foundation, like Raven Angels, that are doing the same thing. They're just supporting the ecosystem. So this is more of a distributed type of thing. If you want to participate, you don't give money to the foundation. You basically just get Raven. And if you want to participate in a material way and contribute, you can do what other people have done, which is build projects on top of Ravencoin. You can support the ecosystem. You can just participate, and everybody can participate, especially with NFTs. Now we have artists and we have people who are coders. We have people that are just passionate about the project, that are running the calendar for our virtual environment. We just have lots of people participating in whatever way they can or that they want to, and it's very different in that way. Some of the projects that pop up are sort of like, we have these tokens, you want to come buy it from us because we're going to do this. Ravencoin isn't that. If you were going to look at a model for what it is, the closest thing would probably be Bitcoin.
Okay. So truly decentralized.
Yep. Very decentralized.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
Now, this next question might be a little bit hard to answer. It's about the roadmap. And I know everything is changing year by year with not only technology, but but regulators and a lot of different things.
Yep.
Even market conditions now. But for Raven, where do you see the project in 3 years from now?
Yeah, so it's just growing by leaps and bounds, but it's growing a lot. So let me talk about the core for a minute. So the core is literally just open source software. You can find it at Raven Project /Ravencoin on GitHub. It's just code. You can download that code. You can modify it. You can look at all the changes, things like that. There are developers. Some of them volunteer. Some of them working for bounties. And other people that are kind of monitoring the code and kind of monitoring the changes to it. So there is a little bit of a roadmap on that in that we want, there's some things that we want to include. We want to make the software better, obviously, but there's on blockchain-based project, you have to be really careful about the consensus rules. Those can't really change willy-nilly. They can only change with the consensus of everybody, meaning all the miners have to update. So we have one change that's coming, significant change coming with that. It's to add something kind of techie. It's pay to script hash for assets. And that will allow the assets to participate into other networks, meaning to hop over to DeFi networks and things like that, where they can swap and then swap back. And so we're adding that capability to core. Most of the other work is being done at the layers above. So that would include things like wallets and marketplaces and trading venues and issuance platforms and things like that that are on top of that. So that's where most and each one of those has its own roadmap. In fact, we recently split in the in Discord. We have what we call SIGs, SIG, special interest groups, and so we have different SIGs for the different things. For core, for Electrum, which kind of rides on top of it, things like that. So that's really where you'd look for the roadmaps for kind of all the things that are happening on top.
Okay, thank you for that intro. Tron, I think our time is up. Thank you very much. Do you have any final words for the community today?
Thank you for being there. The community is awesome. If you want to join the community, follow like Leon Texas or at Tron Black, and then follow out from there. And when you branch out from there, branch out. If you want to do NFTs, follow the NFT people. If you want to do mining, follow Bitsby Trippin and things like that. So you can branch out in the area that you want to branch out in, because this really is like a platform, almost like a file system type thing that everybody builds on top of. Anyway, appreciate the community. Love being part of this. Thank you, VCTV, for having me on.
Thank you very much, Tron, for this opportunity to learn more about the project. You will always be very welcome at the show. If you have something else you would like to share, feel free to reach out. You're more than welcome. And to our viewers, thank you very much for all your questions, your comments, your interaction. Stay safe and see you at the next show. Tron, you have a fantastic day. Thank you very much.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.